What's going on, everybody? It is Dukes and Bell, our pre-show. I am actually on the road, so I had to pull over literally so we could bring this to you. Of course, Day, our executive producer, Big O is here. And look, before we move any further, I know there's still some heat, Mike, as I guess you could call it, in regards to the whole, Chipper clapping back, you responding. We talked a lot about it on the show yesterday. We are going to get a chance to hear Brian Snitker today on the show. We'll replay that from the Steakhouse for you guys who missed it. Snit, of course, stepping away as the Braves manager. But, guys are hitting us up. And it's funny, Mike, how social media works. And I just want to talk about this because it's like when you were in either middle school or high school and somebody says, hey, did you hear what such and such said about you? And, back then, obviously, we didn't have the receipts, right? We didn't have the proof.
Right.
But, it was the telephone game back in the day.
Exactly. But just the rumor alone would set you off. And you'd be like, what'd they say? So guys were hitting us up last night. And I'll say this, man. Well, look, we said our piece. I told you yesterday I agreed with Mike on this and the reasons why. But if this continues as far as, whether it's Chipper or other folks wanting to talk about us, great. Talk about the #1 sports show in Atlanta and one of the top sports shows in the country. We have no problem with that.
We'll live rent-free in people's heads if we want to live rent-free in their heads.
So I want to address that, Mike, just to say, hey, I know guys are like, yo, this person said this and this person said that. And by the way, I said it last night on social media. A lion doesn't care about the opinion of sheep. So at the end of the day, you're looking at us and you know where we are and you know what we represent. So, man, we're keeping it moving. Guys, we got a big show today, but Mike, I did want to address that.
Yeah, like I said, man, I thought it was a reasonable take. We discussed it at length yesterday. We took a lot of feedback. Our audience and people who called in as we solicited phone calls was running 80% agreeing with my take. So I thought Chipper made an unreasonable take to a reasonable sports take. We invite him on the show. That's all you can do. If he chooses to go on a lesser platform, that's his prerogative. But hey, as we said, we'll keep it moving because we own Atlanta radio.
Period. Now, last night, look, Falcons are off this week. We're going to talk dogs here in a second. By the way, thank you guys for being here, as always, on our pre-show, however you're accessing it, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, all the formats and platforms, guys. So thank you. But last night, Mike, I'm not going to say we took Kyle Shanahan for granted, but you just start to realize how good he is with average dudes. I mean, the only star out there last night was Christian McCaffrey. He balled out. And I'll tell you guys this. I bet McCaffrey last night to go over the 51 receiving yards because he had nobody else to throw to.
That was a first half bet, Carl. Yeah.
It was a first half bet. I mean, I covered the bet in the first half. So, but the comment here for me is Kyle Shanahan, and this is my deal with Brock Purdy, guys. I've never been sold. I think they overpaid him. Mac Jones comes in there, guys. He's 3-0. He's won 3 games for them while stepping in. And I think Purdy's overrated. Because the system, Mike, the system is so good.
We used to say it for guys that are new to the show after the Super Bowl. It was the old line from Brokeback Mountain with Shanahan, I can't quit you, because the guy was just amazing. And again, the greatest Matt Ryan season, one of the greatest offensive seasons, in the NFC, if not the NFL. And he just makes lemonade out of lemons. And again, last night, if you had Kendrick Bourne on your bingo card for 142 yards on 10 receptions, McCaffrey. Now, again, some people will say he's going to have to lean into, you and I were texting last night, he's going to have to lean into his best athlete. So 30 touches for Christian McCaffrey, but they get the job done. And a guy that, let's be honest, a cast-off, Mac Jones, throws for 342 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's Shanahan. Now, what happens when he gets to the Super Bowl, that's a little bit different. I think you could argue that a couple of years ago, he had a quarterback that just, Garoppolo couldn't make basic throws. Maybe would have beat the Chiefs. And maybe someday Shanahan will get to the mountaintop. But as far as day in, day out, dealing with adversity and injuries, Shanahan. I mean, and again, and I told you, it felt like a home game for the 49ers as it always does when they go down to SoCal.
No, it did. And real quick, Dede, before you guys jump in, Big O, Mike's right. Here's the difference. You can win a lot of games, and that's been proven with Kyle, was proven with his dad, because this is his dad's system, right? I mean, that's where this comes from. But you still need a difference maker in the Super Bowl. His dad had a guy named John Elway. That is the difference. So you can still win a lot, but to get over the hump, you need a difference maker. And I agree with you, Mike. That's why we don't talk about those guys already having won at least 1 or 2 Super Bowls, even though they've been there. What do you think, Dede?
Oh, man, I mean, I loved what I saw last night. First of all, I know I don't share this often with you guys, but the 49ers actually are my favorite team.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to get Carl. This is one of these guys. I didn't know that I had one of these guys in my midst who wears a Yankees hat, has a Lakers jersey.
New York to San Francisco.
Apparently, he's got San Francisco gym shorts.
You never see me wear anything Lakers.
Carlos Valentino 2.0.
You never see me wear anything Lakers.
I just don't know. I don't know where this comes from. I don't know. Anyway,
listen,
all right.
It's a product of being a bi-coastal kid, man. I was raised on the East Coast part of my life, raised on the West Coast, traveled back and forth between parents. I'm sorry. I've been a 49ers fan.
Pick your coast, Day, and stay with it.
I don't know, Carl. Sounds
I've been a 49ers fan since Super Bowl 19. Understand that.
Front-running Prince of Bel-Air.
So real quick, Day, Tupac or Biggie? Don't screw this up.
Both.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right, but no, I loved what I saw from the 49ers in the sense of when I was watching it, I was like, geez, Shanahan is in his freaking bag tonight with the play calls. And then later in the game, I'm thinking to myself, this dude outside of McCaffrey, there's nobody on this offense that we know. I mean, obviously we know Mac Jones, but and it just gave me vibes of, and I'm not saying they're going to be a dynasty like the Patriots, nothing like that, but it just gave me Bill Belichick Patriots vibes, because year after year we'd see Bill get rid of guys that were part of the situation, bring in new guys, and you're wondering like, how's this going to work? And those new guys plugged right away. It was just like, just give me the guys that can execute my system. And
now again, I will say this. Day last night, and or jump in. If you don't get the fumble at the goal line, it's over.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a killer.
That was big.
And then of course the 49ers
the block extra point.
Right. But I mean, that's one of those moments. That fumble was just, Williams coughs it up right there on the goal line. Good punch out. But otherwise we wouldn't be making this the Kyle Shanahan Mutual Appreciation Society today. But everything stands for what we said.
Even in a loss, they still would have been, because no one expected them to win anyway.
Correct.
So even them losing that game, if it's close, you still got to give props to Shanahan being able to piece together things with these players. And again, it's just like he knows what he's got on staff. He knows that, look, I've got these plays, and these are the guys I know that can execute these plays. So I love what he's been able to do.
Even within that offense, too, which is crazy, he never put Mac Jones in a position last night where Mac wasn't comfortable with what was being called and what was being asked of him.
Yeah.
So even within his offense, it's almost like his offense is his offense, but he can cater it in a way to like, all right, I know the strengths of my quarterback here. I know what he can't do. He doesn't have the crazy biggest arm. All right, so we'll just keep this as intermediate as possible. We'll motion these guys to death, and we'll try to keep as many guys in, max protect as possible, because the Niners offensive line, they kept him upright last night too. All I ask you to do, Mac, is, hey, whatever I'm calling, just don't turn the football over. There's an open guy, throw it. You got Christian McCaffrey as a safety valve. Use me if you need to, but I'm not going to call plays for you where, we're not going to be running goals. We're not going to be running all verts every single. That's not going to happen. But, we're going to find something within my offense to make it work, make you look comfortable out there, and go from there. So, in a sense, that's the mark of a good offensive coordinator, is taking what you do, and if you have to pare it down, you have to do whatever you want to do, whatever you have to do to get to that quarterback and play to his strengths. That's what Shanahan does so well. Like, we knew what Matt did well here, but Shanahan was able to amplify that with what he was able to do with him in the offense.
It's a great point. He enhanced it, and that's why Matt and that team ultimately went to the Super Bowl, because the offense was so good. It's Dukes and Bell, guys, our pre-show. Let's shift gears. We'll give you our official picks coming up today on the show. It's a get-right week for me. You heard me. But, Mike, we got to talk about the dogs.
Yes, you better get right.
Dogs. Let me say this to you guys. I'm ready for Mark Stoops to be fired. And the reason is because he's an underachiever who's getting paid a lot of money. I don't know if people know this, but at Kentucky, his buyout's $38 million. That's why he's not going anywhere.
He's like the second or third longest tenured coach right now in college football.
Yeah,
how much? And if you're an alumni, you're technically you are a booster de facto because your daughter's going there. So that's a lot of loot to kind of check on.
That's what I was about to get to, Mike. I mean, listen, I hear all the stuff. People hit me up all the time. And my daughter's home. She's going to this game tomorrow. I said, baby girl, why? She said, oh, well, all my friends are going. She's got friends at Georgia. She may ultimately go to law school there at the end of the day. But she's going to go. I said, well, this is going to be a blowout. And Mike, I say that because the Dogs are still seething about this Alabama loss last week, and Kentucky's not good. So I'm not fooling myself in thinking that this is last year on their home turf. They, kind of snuck up on the Dogs and surprised them. This isn't that Kentucky team. And that, by the way, that last year's team had about 6 guys that went to the league and are playing currently on teams. This isn't that team. So I'm just over Stoops, man, but they don't have the money, and I'm not doing it, to cut him loose. And that's the reason why he remains there. But you've got mediocrity. And I'm putting that out there because if they get blown out Saturday, and I think it's going to happen, it's not going to surprise me.
By the way, it's 20 right now, 20 and a half, some down to 20 in some books right now. I'm looking right now at Vegas Insider. The question is, Kirby's message has got to be enough with these stinking slow starts. But as you said, Kentucky doesn't have the firepower for Georgia to get down. So if ever there's a chance for these guys to finally cover the spread, Georgia's 0-4 against the number this season. Maybe this is the chance. Noon game,
though.
Noon game. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it as low as the spread.
19?
19 and a half. Yeah.
Well, we'll jump on that. Jump on that at 19.
Yeah, give it to me. Yeah, I'm taking that.
You serious, Carl? You serious?
I was going to take it too, but now if I take it, I'm copying you.
Look, I want him gone. I want to blow out. This is another mark for
Coach,
him.
Coach,
so Oren and Mike, Oren and Carl, you both want the 19 and a half Dogs.
I'll take it while it's
right.
By the way, if you're just tuning in, this is Carl Dukes from an undisclosed location. You look like what's his face from WikiLeaks. Are you okay? He's on the run right now.
Nobody can recognize him.
I'm out here getting goons in case we need them, Mike. Just in case we might need some backup.
Right on.
But hey, Kirby has never lost back-to-back games since his first season. I think I was telling you guys earlier, they're 16-3 and bounce back wins. So I don't think, for me personally, I don't think it's a matter of whether or not they'll bounce back. I think they're definitely bouncing back. But I'll be honest with you, I'm still concerned about their slow starts.
Come on, Day. They're not going to start slow again. It's not going to happen this week.
Look, Mike Griffin even told us they're just so vanilla. They're still vanilla.
Well, you know what? Mike's been killing Bobo. Well, not as much as usual, but it's time for Bobo to pull the plays out of his playbook. Come on, man. What are you waiting for?
Well, but you've got all these transfer portal guys we talked about, and then you got the wrong transfer portal guys. You're not going to utilize it. But to me, I think, and a lot of stuff on Dog Nation this week is more about the defense and Schumann. Now, they made the corrections, but they were so soft in the first half, the damage was done. So that's why the big picture, wherever Georgia goes this year, and I do think I agree with, Connor Riley came on, felt there was a ceiling for this team because it's so young. Yeah. And it's not like the old days, Carl, with NIL and the portal where we don't retool, we reload. Well, Georgia is retooling, and I don't think they have the juice to be a national champion. So the question is, do they up the coaches, the assistants in the offseason?
Let me ask you this, because Dan Lanning's already proven he's pretty damn good out at Oregon. Again, hadn't won a chip. Was Lanning that much better than than Schumann? Is he that much better?
Well, he also had guys, the entire Eagles defense. Yeah. To a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it like this. Schumann was getting interviews to jobs last year, but I don't know if that's going to keep happening. But Schumann got interviewed for that UNC job last year, if I'm not mistaken. So there's been some attention paid to him for being a head coach. But like you said, he didn't have the dues that Landon had.
No, I that's true. All right, man. We got a lot to get to today on the show. It is a big Friday show. Our man B-Mac's going to join us to talk all things NFL. We'll certainly talk about all the other games. We know the Falcons are on a bye. We're talking plenty of Georgia. We got more to dive into, trust us. And the other big matchups, because there are a few that we're keeping our eye on, including, Mike, before we get out of here, Florida State. Do they cover against Miami this weekend?
How aggressive is that defense going to be against Carson Beck? I can see scenarios where Carson Beck is slicing up Florida State. But Florida State at home, the look-ahead factor, the weirdness of Virginia. If you're not a Florida State fan, Virginia is like our mojo bad juju team. Mm-hmm. But I think they get up for Miami. Florida State's getting 4.5. I think I might not bet the Noles, but the over, I think JD check. I think it's 53.
I'm seeing it at 54.5 right now.
Okay. I like it at 53, but anyway, I think there'll be a lot of points in this game. I think this is going back and forth. But look, if they lose, if you beat Miami, the Virginia loss is okay. If you
Right.
lose, then you're wondering if it's going to be a 7-5 season and Cheez It Bowl, here we come. So, but for Miami hasn't played since Notre Dame. They've been beating up on patty cakes too. So we'll see.
They could rematch, right, in the ACC championship game.
That's
that right?
a Big Ten 4. That's a
Yeah.
Big Ten 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
based on the new formations, we're no longer in divisions. But
Yeah.
the other game, real quick, and we'll get into this later on. You've got Bill Belichick taking on Dabo. Who thought that was going to be anything? And it isn't. Texas A&M, Miss State. I kind of like Texas A&M in this one, Carl, but Miss State showed they could hang with Tennessee. That's kind of a surprise team. And there's other big matchups around the college game we'll get to today.
Yeah, I was shocked at that spread on that one. Now, it has dropped 2 points, but it opened up. Well, not opened up. I want to say as early as today, it was like 16.5, and now it's down to 14, I believe.
Right. And are you going to take Texas today? Are you going to take Texas in the swamp?
That's a good one, Carl.
It's 6.5 now. What I saw, 6.5.
And how does that make you feel?
Disgusted, like Barbara Doolittle. Okay, disgusted. I mean, this should be a 20-point spread with Texas coming into the swamp. It's
Roger
a joke,
that.
man. We'll talk about it today. We'll get into all the big games, guys. Join us on a big Friday show. Again, you'll hear from Brian Snitker as his decision to walk away from the Braves as well. We'll be there at 2. Tune in at 92.9 The Game. We'll talk to you guys later.